Hi, my name's Emma Green, and today I'm going to be presenting my argumentative speech. In the email, I have attached this handout, which includes some important quotes and from the book and video clips. So enjoy. Jurassic Dead was written by David Sackmeister and Rick Chesler, and is about this Antarctic research team that pulls up these perfectly preserved dinosaurs, only to find out that they're not dead. They are dead, but they're zombies. They have this virus that turns them into zombies, turns whoever they bite into zombies, and turns whoever the zombies bite into zombies. Like any classic zombie media, film, book, etc. In class, we briefly described some ways that this book is different from normal zombie media, and the biggest difference that I picked up on that we discussed was that this book uses the animals as the start of the zombie spread, which we have not seen before. It's normally just humans, and it starts with the zombies in this case, or the dinosaurs in this case, excuse me. So this is a unique thing. However, I would like to argue today that although it is a unique storyline with the dinosaurs, I believe that it copies specific plot lines from World War Z, Jurassic Park, and The Walking Dead, and I would like to explain to you why. One of the most memorable scenes from Jurassic Park is the scene when they're in the Jeeps, and it's nighttime and it's pouring rain, and the water starts to tremble, which is hinting that something huge is on its way. And it turns out there's this T-Rex that escaped its enclosure and comes to investigate the Jeeps with the lights on. The first similarity that I noticed was that they use the Jeeps in the island of Adrenos, which is another similarity. They go to this faraway island that's away from everything else, and they keep referencing Jeeps, not cars. They're on Jeeps, just like in Jurassic Park. And they have this chase scene in Jurassic Park, they're driving and the T-Rex is coming so fast behind them, and the driver looks in the rearview mirror and sees this T-Rex gaining speed on him. And they have the exact same thing in the book. They have Alex driving through Adrenos, and he doesn't see a T-Rex, he sees the Cryolophosaurus, and it's smaller, but it runs really fast, and it's running after him. And they specifically mention on page 1, or chapter 24, no, page 103, excuse me, that he looks in the rearview mirror and sees this thing coming after him. And I think it was a pretty specific similarity that they both use the rearview mirror in a car chase with dinosaurs. Another similarity is, as I said, the island. And finally, they just blatantly drop the name in the book. On page 82, they reference Jurassic Park. As I have a quote on the handout, as you can see. I believe that with these examples, it's clear to tell that the writers of this book got a little bit more than just some inspiration from the movie. Now, it's also a known fact that you can kill zombies. The only way you can kill zombies is to destroy its brains, and you can do that by shooting its head or smashing it or stabbing its head. And they have this, of course, through all zombie media. However, The Walking Dead really, it's their thing to go through and stab all these zombies in the head, left and right, center, like they're stabbing them all the time. And they had that in this book too. Veronica finds this blade, and she's just stabbing them all in the head, and I found it very, very similar to The Walking Dead. They also reference Daryl by name and his crossbow on page 150, and The Walking Dead. They just discuss it in there, so I think that's pretty obvious too. And finally, the most recent popular influence is in World War Z. It was released in 2013, which was a year before this book was released, and it's about Brad Pitt's character is trying to save his family from this zombie virus, and it's sweeping through everywhere so fast, the entire world, and these zombies are fast. That's the first similarity between the book. They're fast, they're not slow moving like they are in The Walking Dead. They just attack, they run, and they're very vicious. And The second similarity I noticed with the movie was that they when Brad Pitt is trying to save his family, he has to go to the top of a building and meet a helicopter. And while he's doing this, there's this huge pack of zombies chasing after him and his family. And they barely make it up in time to get to the helicopter, barely make it on there. Zombies, like, basically get on the helicopter, but they make it out alive. In the book, Jurassic Dead, they had the exact same thing, basically. Alex was waiting on top of a building for Veronica and Xander, and they're running towards the helicopter. He's trying to start it, and they have a huge pack of zombies running with them on the top of a building. They barely make it in the helicopter in time. I mean, the helicopter doesn't make it as far as it did in the movie, but it still makes up a little bit to help them get away from the zombies for the time being. And finally, I think the most obvious similarity between any of these films and this book is the scene in Jurassic Dead where all the zombies are at that same building as I mentioned before, and they're climbing up on top of each other to reach the top of the building. They're like a pile of ants is how they described them. And they're piling up to reach the top, and the Cryos climbs up on top of them. And you'd think that'd be pretty cool, but I remember specifically the World War Z movie. They promoted that scene like crazy. It was in every commercial, and that was the scene where you thought, oh, I want to see that movie, because they show in World War Z all the zombies running up at this huge wall, and they use each other to like make this huge pile to get over the wall. And I thought that was a very, very clear similarity. I think if I worked for World War Z, the project, I would feel slightly ripped off by this book. I think that's a very clear plot line stealing. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy this book. I did. I read through it really fast. However, I think that the reason I enjoyed it so much was because I recognized all the similarities between one of my favorite shows, Walking Dead, and two of my favorite movies, World War Z and Jurassic Park. So in conclusion, I believe that this book blatantly, as it is unique, it blatantly took plot lines from Jurassic Park, The Walking Dead, and World War Z. Thank you.